Good morning and welcome back to our committee meetings of November 7th, 2023. This is the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting, and on this committee is Chair O'Connor, Councillor O'Connor, Councillor O'Toole, Mayor Clayton, and myself, Councillor Bosch. So I will chair this meeting for Councillor O'Connor this morning as he's away at a meeting. So we'll call the meeting to order. We don't have any delegations this morning, and we will go right into the reports. So Chief Lemieux.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in terms of an update for the Coordinated Care Campus, the Coordinated Care Campus Renaming Subcommittee has been identified and will start their work here very shortly. And planning for the communal kitchen at the Coordinated Care Campus is underway. With regards to Fletcher House, the tenants are expected to move in on November the 15th, and I believe Council is having a tour this Friday on November the 10th. From the Community Social Development Department, I want to provide some stats from January to September 2023. The Explore GP welcome packages, we've distributed 596 of those packages, which included 185 international students at NWP. And 25 countries are represented with higher applications from India, Ukraine, the Philippines, and Afghanistan. Again, community social development with regards to a recreation access program between January and September 2023, 1,408 approved individuals with a total of 990 memberships or registered program summer camps that were purchased for city facilities. And with regards to our transit access program, the stats between January and September 2023, over 1,000 transit passes were purchased, which consisted of 397 adults, 246 seniors, and 412 student passes. From the Housing and Homeless Initiatives Department, with regards to the winter emergency response, so the program advisor from the GOA has indicated to the city that the winter emergency funding was directly awarded to Wapiti House. So in the past, that funding came to the city, and the city worked with the local service providers, but the funding this year went strictly or directly to Wapiti House. Wapiti House, they're planning 10 emergency mats to be located at Wapiti House and 13 additional mats to be located at the St. Lawrence Center, and funding is available to them from November 1st to March 31st. So if you recall, last year we used the South Bear Creek facility, so this year that will not happen. We'll rely on Wapiti House and the St. Lawrence Center to provide that winter emergency response. Enforcement services, the enforcement members participated in a downtown Halloween party to ensure safety of children. The Director of Enforcement Services, Mike Lefebvre, this was last week was his last week with Enforcement Services, and he's made a move to the Grande Prairie Police Service, so we congratulate him and thank him for his leadership of the Emergency Services Department. In terms of GPREP and emergency management, we've held some incident command training in the last couple of weeks, and the Joint Emergency Management Committee has directed GPREP to evaluate the current operating model. So there'll be more information coming to Council at a later date on that particular one. From the Fire Department, they hosted another successful Take Your Kid to Work Day, which was November the 1st, with several young students spending the day at the fire station and getting a glimpse of what it's like to be a firefighter or a dispatcher. And one of the members of the Fire Department Honor Guard, Mark Brazier, will be playing the trumpet at the Outdoor Remembrance Day ceremony on November 11th. From the RCMP, Superintendent Lee Brockman is preparing for the upcoming town halls, which are scheduled starting today, and then the 15th and the 30th. So the town halls are a way to connect with local community members, and it's an excellent opportunity for people to voice their concerns about policing priorities. So there'll also be a virtual engagement survey for those that aren't able to attend in person. And just some update from the Grande Prairie Police Service staffing. Just want to give an update that Mr. John Respite has been hired as a superintendent for police operations. He started on October the 23rd. Greg Rundle has been hired as the superintendent for the Service and Community Support Branch, and he started on this Monday, November the 6th. Mike Lefebvre, like I mentioned, has been hired as a staff sergeant responsible for training and recruitment, and he started on Monday, November 6th. 3 more hires. Sean Graham will be joining the team as a training sergeant. He'll be starting on December the 4th. And Graham Bork will be a training constable who will also start on December the 4th. And pleased to announce that they have hired a public information officer. So Erica Fisher, who's well known locally, will be filling that civilian position, and she also starts on December the 4th. So that's the staffing update from the Grande Prairie Police Service. Mobile Outreach reports that between January and September, Outreach responded to 7,238 calls for service, providing support for a total of 850 unique individuals. So this figure represents the number of distinct individuals who received assistance during this period and does not imply that all 850 were experiencing homelessness, but those are the number of individuals that they've supported. And CKC Knowledge Campus with regards to aquatics. So the junior lifeguard program began on October 28th. It's filled to capacity, so that's really good news. And their swim instructor courses will start November 8th to the 13th, with some further certification happening in early December. And all swimming lessons began also on October 28th, and classes are filled to capacity. Again, some really good news there. And the CKC membership and growth coordinator attended the chamber event on October 26th to promote our corporate memberships. And she also hosted a membership table at the 2nd annual Teddy Bear Carnival event that was held on October 28th. And there were over 370 people that came through at that particular time. And over 30 different agencies were sharing information at that event. And so final reported numbers for partner facilities used during the aquatic shutdown. So if you recall, we had partnership with other facilities to support our membership during the shutdown. There were a total of 415 visits at other facilities. And the Pomeroy saw 325 visits, Beaver Lodge 53 visits, the outdoor pool 30 visits, and Valley View 2 visits, and Grand Cache 5 visits. So we're extending sincere thanks to our partner municipalities and facilities. With regards to sport development, wellness, and culture, a successful qualifier event for archery was held at the Activity and Reception Center on October 21st. That was in preparation for the Alberta Winter Games and the Arctic Winter Games. The Grande Prairie Curling Center is pleased to announce that they've been awarded bids to host both the provincial and national stick curling championships in 2025. So that's part of our sport tourism opportunities. And dates have been confirmed with regards to our proposed recreation facility in Avondale. So dates have been confirmed for neighborhood engagement for the proposed indoor recreation facility, and that will take place on Tuesday, November 21st at the new Compsett High School. And childcare will be available for that event. On the programming side, the city was one of 20 communities that was selected to host a pilot project through the Jays Care Foundation to host fun, engaging, and inclusive programming at no charge for girls, helping to remove barriers to participation in sports. And lastly, on the Regional Recreation Committee, the committee has recently undertook a brand relaunch, including an updated website. And so that's available for viewing for any community member. And that's my report, Madam Chair. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief Lemieux. Sounds like you've been busy. No one can say nothing is going on, can they? I'm looking to my colleagues on committee. I don't see any questions. I do have one, and then we'll go on to Councillor Blackmore. The CCC naming rights or naming committee, what's the timeline for those names to come back to council?
The goal right now is to have something back early in 2024, so probably January, February.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Blackmore?
Thank you, Chair Bosch. I missed the dates that you mentioned for the RCMP town halls, and I'm wondering if maybe we can have that added to council calendar, because I don't see it in my calendar.
Certainly, I apologize if it's not in your calendar. We'll get it in your calendar. The first one is today at 12:30, and they're all at the Montrose Cultural Center. So the first one is today, starting at 12:30, and the next two, one's on the 15th of November and the other one's on the 30th. Two of them are during the daytime, one is late afternoon, early evening, so I will make sure those are in your calendar.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Blackmore. Any other questions from anyone? No, I don't see any. Thank you, Chief Lemieux. That was an extensive report. And we'll go on next to 3.2 Legion flags. And Chief Lemieux, if you could introduce that.
Thank you very much, and I'll ask Sarah Patterson to join us at the front. Sarah's prepared that report for committee. So some time ago, the Legion attended one of these meetings to talk about some potential beautification options, and they talked about some banners and flags. So we started doing some work with the Legion. That'll be ongoing work, but Sarah's got an update for us.
Thank you, Chief Lemieux, and thank you, Chair Bosch. At the July 24th, 2023 City Council meeting, Council directed administration to bring back a report exploring potential options for banners and flags. Administration met with representatives from the Grande Prairie Royal Canadian Legion on September 12th to discuss beautification efforts along 101 Avenue from 98th Street to 102nd Street, namely the possibility of installing regiment flags. Banners were discussed and then tabled due to costs associated with the banners. The Legion does not have flags at this time. They're exploring costs and the sizing and dimensions of the flags. Currently, administration is exploring all options regarding beautification efforts along 101 Avenue. And administration will meet with the Legion to continue this discussion in January 2024. Administration recommends that committee receive this report for information.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Is there any other questions from committee? No? Anybody on council? Councillor Berg.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Bosch. To me, I think one of the actions that we may want to take, as opposed to just strictly information, but not necessarily a motion, is to discuss with the Downtown Association Board, would they be willing to move or reallocate those flowers somewhere else to accommodate the Legion?
And I do have a note to contact them actually today, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Berg. I'll just add to that comment. They are on a cycle of RFP for next 3 years, and that will be going out November. So we have to tick-tock on this.
Absolutely.
Because that number will go down in the RFP, and then, you know, we don't want somebody to be paying for flowers that aren't going anywhere. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we could get on that. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Oh, I need a motion to accept.
I will make the motion.
Okay. Councillor O'Connor, go ahead.
Yes, I move that we accept this information, this presentation for information with a possible amendment.
Possible amendment in your motion or details?
A possible amendment of the number of flags or flowers being removed, as to your point earlier.
Oh, I think we're just in the information gathering at this point. So for now, I think just
fine.
This motion.
For information then.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. Thank you. So, Mayor Clayton.
Thanks. I will support the motion. I just ask that Chief Lemieux, if he could bring in his, when appropriate, his service review update, some additional information as this project continues.
Chief Lemieux? Okay, thank you. And I'll call the question. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Councillor O'Toole would like to say something. Oh, we can't hear you. I think your mic is still muted. There you go.
There we go. So I know a few other municipalities in Canada, the Legions, of course, don't have a lot of money. And so they put it out to the community, the families, and the flags were purchased by the families and friends of the families to help support the Legion and make a recognition. And there's nothing more proud to see your grandfather or your father on a flagpole in your city. So those are just some of my comments in case anybody was concerned about funding something like this. It's not always necessarily the government that helps out. Sometimes it's the own families. But I'm fully supportive of this.
Thank you, Chair O'Toole. Ms. Patterson, you'll just take what people have been speaking about this morning into your whole list of to-dos in regards to gathering information, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. And I'll call the question now.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Thank you. Again. Okay. This time should be good. And has been carried. We will move, thank you, Ms. Patterson. We'll move to the proposed cricket location. Chief Lemieux.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So again, Sarah prepared that report, so I'll get her to outline the potential safety changes that are being proposed and potential alternate locations.
Thank you. Ms. Patterson, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair Bosch. At the July 24th, 2023 City Council meeting, Council directed administration to bring back a report outlining both potential safety changes to the existing cricket grounds and potential alternate locations. Following Council's direction, administration explored 4 possible options for consideration. 1, the potential safety changes to the existing cricket pitch and practice pitch. 2, relocate practice pitch on current cricket grounds. 3, relocate only the practice pitch to an alternate location. And 4, relocate entire cricket grounds to a new location. Administration recommends that committee recommend council approve option 1 and refer capital cost to budget deliberations. With that, I present my report to committee as read, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Any questions from committee?
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead. Someone else had their hand up. Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Since you're chair originally.
Yes. Under option 1, is that the main one that we're speaking? I just want that clarified. Or we're choosing?
Yes, I believe. Ms. Patterson?
Yes, our recommendation is that committee bring to council option 1, which is the potential safety changes at the existing cricket pitch and practice pitch.
Right. And just to clarify, is the existing pitch that the neighbors were concerned about that was in front of your yard, is that going to be the same place?
With option 1, the practice pitch and the cricket pitch are remaining where they are. Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I'm concerned with that, having just watched 3 years of World Cricket matches. The balls behind the batter can go into the yards quite easily. So just having a fence towards the playground is not adequate, that the neighbors will be affected because a lot of balls get diverted by the batsman pivoting the bat. So I'm really concerned about the safety in that area.
Go ahead if you have a comment to that.
Yes, through the chair. Where the pitch is, the actual play pitch, we do have 2 fences, one to the east and one to the west. What we're getting to the safety change is the request to put in an additional fence between the play and the playground. So to prevent any balls from rolling into the playground. Where the practice pitch is, it is caged to the back and to the sides. So the only way the ball can exit the practice pitch is through the front, which is where we've had a temporary barrier this year. And with that temporary barrier in place, there's been no incidents of balls leaving the practice pitch.
Thank you for answering.
And not entering, sorry, Acting Chair. I understood from the neighborhoods that there is also a noise issue and stuff in that. And so I'm concerned that we're not hearing what the residents are concerned about.
Ms. Patterson?
Yeah, and noted, I'm just going by what the direction was from council at the last meeting there in July 24th, which was to come back with safety options as well as potential locations to relocate.
Thank you. Yes, the noise factor was not in the directive, so we can't question her on that today. So, Councillor O'Toole, and then Mayor Clayton. You are not muted, or you are muted, sorry.
There. I thought I was at home. I was muted. Thank you for the report. I like the different locations that were located that you had found. Was there any consultation with the cricket club on any of these locations and the safety protocols that are going to be possibly put in place with this today?
Yes, I did meet with the president there of the Cricket Club Association, and we've had ongoing conversations.
Okay. And I know I've been talking to them occasionally. They were looking for a second location. Is that something that is still in the air, or we're going to just fix this one up?
Again, at direction from council, if it's to administration to look for a second location, we are happy to take that directive. At this time, it was just to look at alternatives to the original cricket pitch, and yeah, we can take a look at the other locations should that be the directive to move forward with a second pitch.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, I appreciate your report, and but that they'll be probably coming back in the near future to find a second location. The sport of cricket has really taken off in this community, and they don't have enough space to play all their games on the Saturdays or the Sundays. So I like what you're doing here, so I'll move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Toole. I believe that was some of the information in the report as well.
Yes.
Other locations and increased locations. Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair Bosch. I'm just, I'm processing. Give me 1 second.
Do you mind if I ask a question in between?
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. Ms. Patterson, on this report here, when we had discussed or consultation for different areas like Cobblestone, Riverstone, and Visions West, just above on page 2, it says that you need between 137 meters and 150 meters in diameter. Yet each of these locations don't fit other than Vision West, correct? The other ones, would they fit?
No, they would all fit. Yeah, it may not look square on. Some may have to be placed diagonally, but they've all been sized to fit.
So the 320 meter by 108 meter would still fit even though it's not the parameters listed above?
So for a cricket pitch, we need between 137 meters and 150 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, yeah, all the other locations meet that criteria. I think the smallest being Riverstone east of Mother Teresa School at 170 meters in diameter and 226 meters by 132 meters on the east side of the field. So there was 2 locations there that we had kind of selected. So the one that is closer to the east side of the field would meet the criteria.
Right. Okay, so maybe you just have to help me clarify this. So you need either 137 meters or 150 meters in diameter?
Those are the range of size for cricket pitches across Canada. Currently, the one that is at Heads and Salmon Park is 147 meters.
Okay, and in Cobblestone, it's 320 meters by 108. So how does that fit in there?
Again, based on the diagonal.
Okay.
It's hard to picture it until you see it in the location, but due to the location, if it's just placed diagonally, it does fit within the parameters.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Clayton?
Thanks, Chair Bosch. Question first, and then there might be something else. Can you tell me, please, Ms. Patterson, to your knowledge, in other municipalities, are cricket pitches in a similar location like this, in a neighborhood sort of grass area. I mean, let's call it a park. It's not really a park, but is this a traditional location for a cricket pitch?
In my
To your
experience,
knowledge?
yeah, going across municipalities in Alberta, I've seen a host of different layouts. Some are like set it as a home, like this is the home of cricket, and they have massive cricket pitch. There's covered cricket grounds. More often than not, though, that this is what you'll see, especially in an urban setting, is grass pitch areas, kind of put in between parks or green spaces. That more often than not, I've seen them in green spaces throughout the municipalities.
And possibly you or Chief Lemieux, can somebody remind me what this cost initially and what the relocation is going to cost?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we've identified some relocation costs for the different locations in the report. So those costs were obtained from our Parks Department and our Engineering or Planning Department. So those departments helped us come up with those costs. So you could see Riverstone, for example, I think early estimates are between $150,000 to $250,000 and a little bit more for the Vision West area. So that gives you an idea. In terms of what the cost was to build what we currently have, I'll have to get back to council with that information.
Okay. I think I'm going to make a motion to go in camera.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. I guess I can get one of the two others online to move that.
Well, I'm in committee, so I could do it.
Oh, you're going to, okay. Go ahead. Just wait a moment.
Sorry, Chair Bosch, you should probably just call the question.
The question is called, sorry, it's not coming up on your screen. So we have Councillor O'Connor and Councillor...
In favor.
Clayton in favor. Sorry, eScribe's not working for me today.
Okay. And that is carried. Thank you. We'll just take a moment. camera, and now we're back to discuss the proposed cricket location and safety concerns. Is there anybody from committee who would like to ask any more questions prior to a motion? Mayor Clayton?
Yes, I will.
Mayor Clayton, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was looking for business arising.
Oh,
Councillor
okay.
O'Connor had a question.
Councillor O'Connor?
Yes, I still think it's in our best interest on option one to make sure that the neighbors are being heard, and that's a key point. If the neighbors have an issue, then we need to re-examine this.
Thank you, Councillor O'Connor.
That's all I have.
Ms. Patterson, there has been comments in the report, and maybe you could speak to it, how there has not been any issues since you have put temporary fencing in, and if you could just speak to that for a moment.
Yes, I had information pull up any incidents within this between June to September regarding the practice pitch or any incidents reported with cricket in general. And to date, we had one incident take place where a ball rolled from the practice pitch to the playground, and that is when that temporary fencing was erected. And since that time, there's been no other incidents that have been reported.
Okay, thank you. And then, talking about going into other locations, can I ask a question on that since you've put them into the report?
Mm-hmm.
In option 2 here, you say 2 potential locations, but they're in a dry pond and potentially could flood in the future. So is that even an option for us to consider, or would it just be just a limited time flood, like a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah, thank you, Chair Bosch. The current location is in a dry pond as well. The practice pitch and the actual grounds are in a dry pond as well.
Okay.
That whole lake location there is dry pond.
Okay. And my other question is, if this potential sports dome goes in, is that large enough to play cricket in?
I don't have the dimensions in front of me of what the size of the dome is. I know that cricket, as with all our user groups, will be invited to the open house to engage in that conversation as well.
Maybe there's someone here who would know, because if we're looking at potentially the space that would host 4 soccer fields, and this needs the space of approximately 2, in my math, that seems like it will work. But if we could confirm that at some point, if something like that could go into the potential dome as well. Well, in my head, it's yes, but confirmation. Okay. Thank you for that.
Oh,
your expertise. So I guess we can move forward with a motion, and then we can discuss future site, be it some that we've discussed here today. But for today, I'm looking for business arising. Mayor Clayton, you were going to do that?
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Chair Bosch. I will move the recommendation in the package that committee recommend council approve option 1 and refer, capital costs to budget deliberations. I will, speaking to that motion, looking forward to a full conversation at council. I'm not personally completely certain that option 1 is the best, but I do think we need to have other input from that. I appreciate the information that administration presented today in regards to the minimal amount of impact in the neighborhood from this location. Noise was not part of this report as a result of council's motion, so that's something that probably should have been, that's a miss on council's part. I do think, I also encourage the Cricket Association, following the decision made from council, to really come back with statistics and numbers and what it looks like with a future partnership for an additional location if it so turns out to be warranted. So look forward to them coming back next year in 2024 for those discussions, and look forward to this discussion at council. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Clayton. Any comments on the motion from committee? Not seeing any, I'll call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Thank you, and that is carried. Moving on, we will go to Grande Prairie Public Library 3.4. And Chief Lemieux, can you introduce that, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So Stephanie has prepared the report for us, and Haley from the Grande Prairie Public Library is joining her. So I'll ask Stephanie to walk us through the report.
Thank you. Welcome. Go ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair. Library boards are vital for overseeing and managing public libraries as they make crucial decisions regarding library operations and services. Bylaws allow the library board to tailor library services to the needs and preferences of the local committee. Their bylaws cover various aspects such as criteria for public access, guidelines for the library collection, fees for service, and more. Under the Alberta Municipalities Act, Municipal Council acceptance of these bylaws is a requirement and further promotes transparency and accountability in library governance. The bylaw revisions proposed in the report involve minor housekeeping adjustments. Administration proposes that committee recommend council accept the amendments to the Grande Prairie Public Library's bylaws and membership as presented.
Thank you. We did receive this in our package, and is there any questions or concerns from our committee members first, and then council secondly? Mayor Clayton.
I'm good.
Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair Bosch. I had a question in regards, and I couldn't find it in the bylaw. Something that I'm curious of administration's recommendation that it would be appropriate to have it addressed is in regards to the relationship between the building. And so in bylaw, point 10, it addresses that the board may request money for acquiring property or erecting or repairing, equipping the building to be used as a library. The city owns the building. We do the maintenance on the building. And I wonder where it's appropriate to have conversations about that relationship between the tenant and the owner.
Thank you, Mayor
That's a question for administration. I don't know who wants to take that.
Thank you. Through the chair, there is an agreement between the library board and the city of Grande Prairie related to improvements of the building of the site, that sort of thing. So all of the provisions and requirements in terms of how requests are initiated are part of that agreement.
Mayor Clayton.
Yeah. Okay. Not sure if that's quite enough. I'm thinking I'll let others get in the queue if there is any.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else on committee? No, seeing none. Anybody? Councillor Berg?
Yeah, thank you. So in Schedule D, when I see penalty provisions, it looks like you've got everything down to bags. But one of the things that I'm just curious about, do you guys still lend out power tools? And if so, where do they fall under that? Because I know that they can be far more expensive than any book.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Thank you. So the power tools will be part of our library of things replacement charges. However, given the tools are much more expensive than just $10, we would charge whatever the tool cost us to purchase.
Okay, and that's part of the agreement when they sign it out?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Just a quick question.
Councillor O'Connor?
Yes, I'm curious to find out when I was sitting on the board, I understand that past memberships, they let them expire. And I thought, are they still doing that, allowing memberships to expire?
Yeah, so our memberships have kind of three statuses. They have active, so if they've been used in the last 6 months. They have inactive if they've been used in the last 12 months, but not in the last 6 months. And then beyond that would be expired. They do stay in our library software, I believe, for 2 to 3 years. And then once that date range has passed without them coming to the library and renewing their membership, they're just wiped out of the system entirely.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there any comments in these bylaws for provisional spaces, such as renting out to outside parties, other than the normal rental? But you at one point had CBC in there and such. Where do they fit in?
Yeah, so in Schedule A, we do have the room rental fees laid out there for the training room, the community room, and our Willie Jansen room. So that's open to any individual, nonprofit, or organization in the community that would like to rent space in the library.
Right, that's per day. That's not my question.
Oh, sorry, what was,
So
can you repeat?
What, when CBC rented your space, that's per month or year?
Thank you. Through the chair. Because it is a city-owned building, the library board is not able to sublet space. So the agreement between the current leaseholder is with the city of Grande Prairie, and there is a separate agreement for that.
So that sits outside of this. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none. Okay, we can look at business, please. Who would like to do that? Councillor O'Toole.
I move the committee recommend council to accept the Grande Prairie Public Library amendment to the bylaws and membership as presented.
Thank you, Councillor O'Toole. Any comments or questions? I'll call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Thank you, and that is carried. Thank you both for attending to this.
Thank you.
See, by the end of this meeting, I'll get things back in order. I've been away from it for a few months, and now I'm like rusty. All right, so no correspondence, other business, bylaw or policy review, other than the libraries, and our outstanding items list. Chief Lemieux.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So on the list, we should take off item 1283. It's been dealt with today. Item 1284. And I'm certainly aware of the request from the mayor on 1284, the Royal Canadian Legion flags and banners. I will keep council posted as part of my regular updates on that one. So 1283, 1284, and also 1275, which was presented at the last meeting, but we forgot to take it off. So I would recommend those three items be deleted from the outstanding items list.
Thank you, Chief Lemieux. Is there somebody interested in perhaps making a motion for potential alternative locations or future locations for cricket, or do you want to bring that back at another time? Mayor Clayton?
I think that that's an appropriate motion for somebody. However, my suggestion was that maybe the cricket club, when they're ready to come to council to have those conversations, that would be probably more appropriate.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so then we will look at the business, please.
I will do that.
Councillor O'Connor?
Yes, I move that committee receive the November 7th outstanding items list as amended for information.
Thank you, Councillor O'Connor, and we will call the question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Councillor O'Toole in favor.
Thank you, and that is carried. And that is it for our Public and Protective Services Committee today, and we will adjourn. Thank you.